Well, the Abraham Accords were certainly a historic development in Mideast diplomacy. But the truly groundbreaking aspect of those normalization agreements that Israel has made with the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain is that they already appear to be the first true warm peace between the Israeli people and their counterparts in those Arab nations. Now, this is especially true, it appears, of the younger generation. And a group of Israelis and Emiratis have already moved forward to establish such a rapport in what they are calling a peer-to-peer dialogue as part of a UAE-ISRAEL Leaders of Tomorrow initiative. Well, joining me now is Eyal Biram. He is the founder and CEO of the NGO Israel Is and a member of Leaders of Tomorrow. Eyal, tell us about how did this get started, this Leaders of Tomorrow, this connection peer-to-peer. How did this come about, and how did it come about so quickly?
So first of all, I'm delighted for the opportunity also to be here with Noura and Saud. And in the last month and a half, since the agreement was announced, we created peer-to-peer connection and a friendship, a real connection between young people. And as part of it, we started to have a dialogue. And the dialogue was on the diverse issues. But our main focus was to hope together, to build collaboration, partnership, and friendship. That will be the opportunity to take it from the politicians' level to the people's level.
But I want to just explain even just the mechanics. How did you or the people in Israel first make contact with the Youth Council of the UAE? And we'll be joined hopefully by members of that Youth Council just in a moment. How did you make that initial contact?
So we started on behalf of Israel Is, a non-profit, non-political organization that I'm the CEO and the founder of. And I'm grateful to see here also Saud and Noura on the screen. We started it and we just created the contact with them. And together with them, we took Israelis, this organization that till today was mainly focused on educating young Israelis being ambassadors, to take this unique project. And I can say that this is one of the meaningful projects we did. And the dialogue was on diverse issues.
Okay, well, we'll get to the issues for a minute. We're joined now by Noura El-Awadi. She is a member of Leaders of Tomorrow and the Youth Council of the UAE. And she joins us, of course, from the UAE. And Saud Al-Husani, also part of that group. Noura, let me start with you. How did you react when you were first approached to have this dialogue with an Israeli peer? What was your reaction?
First of all, hi. Good evening, everybody. My reaction was, I was probably mind blown. I've never met an Israeli in my life. So the rush was a weird feeling, sort of like butterflies. But as soon as I met them, instant connection. It felt like something like the final piece of the puzzle was just placed.
Right. So I also want to get your response, your reaction, also the reaction of those around you when you told them that already that you were dialoguing with Israelis. How was that received, even in your own circle?
All right. First of all, thank you for this opportunity. As Noura said, the feeling was mind-blowing. Our peers in the UAE over here all wanted to dip in their fingers into this meeting, and they wanted to take part of it. And it's nice to see that, you know, a small seed can plant a big tree. And within our friends and within our community, I've been asked constantly if they can take part of it. And this just shows how amazing this family came together, and hand in hand, we work together just to keep growing and growing and connecting people together.
All right. Eyal, let's talk a little about, we've heard about the excitement of the dialogue, a little of the substance. What are the issues that you've started to talk about with Noura and Saud and others in this circle?
So as Saud and Noura mentioned, it started from the people connection, from the friendship. And the friendship is based about the dialogue. And the dialogue is on diverse issues. It's on economy, on culture, and on society. And we mostly want to understand together what is the common interest that we can take it for the next steps. And we also have a vision already to take right now more groups of young Israelis and young Emiratis for these groups, and to establish it to be an organization that together will bring also delegations in the future when it will be available.
Right. Okay, Nora, Israel and I've been to the UAE. Israel and the UAE are quite different societies. What were the commonalities that you found with Ayal and other Israelis?
A lot of things in common. Mainly the humbleness, the kindness, and that positive energy. You know, it just shines through. I was very intrigued to know more about them because of that. And being friends now, I consider them as friends and family. Here in the UAE, family is a huge part of our lives. So I consider them being my family as they consider us theirs.
Well, I have to say, so it all sounds so wonderful, but there must be some differences too. What differences have you encountered? Well, you could also, both of you could add in on this.
Well, differences were that the, how do you say it? Not understanding, for example, how to dress. Main difference, the language. I don't know Hebrew. So I apologize. I'm trying to learn as much as I can. And the timings of some of the religious days, and why are things done in a certain way. So that was sort of a major difference in my mind.
Right. Certainly two societies where religion plays a huge role. What about you, So? Differences and similarities?
Perfect. So I've stated this in one of our past meetings, is that we've got many similarities, but what we learn from each other are from the differences. The differences we faced, again, you know, such as main factors, obvious factors such as religion, culture, tradition. The difference that I learned from the most is that the difference in the age. So we all come from a certain age limit, and we all come from a certain society that plays around such ages. And this is one of our visions, is to target age groups. The differences between the ages is that you get to see how fastly grown the societies are. So, for example, I would actually give is that the Emiratis are very ambitious. They're outgoing. They follow the leadership. And the Israelis as well have certain similarities in that sense. However, when it comes down to the age group, you see many Israelis dependent on themselves. They're entrepreneurs. They've got their own businesses, startups. You get to learn from these differences in different cultures, and this is where we, as Nora said, the puzzle is completed.
Right. Now, Ayal, the trickiest subject, of course, in any Mideast dialogue is going to end up probably going to be politics, geopolitics. Do you discuss issues like the Palestinian issue, like relations or dealing with Iran? Is that a subject that you discuss with your counterparts in the UAE?
We are keeping this discussion for the politicians. We understand that the unique mandate that we have right here, and we can see it also if we compare the peace with Jordan and with Egypt. As an Israeli, I can say. And we hope to see a different vision and a different region. And we believe that this region is built on a trust from both sides and also on friendship. That I will be able to call for Noura when I want to discuss with her on the relations, and with the UAE. Once we will be more older, and we will be the ones who get the decision in the countries. But right now, it's all based on the trust that we are creating, and this is our main focus.
Right. Nora, of course, the peace already, as I mentioned in my introduction, between Israel and the UAE and to an extent Bahrain, very different from that with Egypt and Jordan. To be honest, we're not seeing young Egyptians and Jordanians, certainly significant numbers, coming to visit us here in Tel Aviv, here in Jaffa, and vice versa. Do you think we're likely to see that? Are you, for example, planning to come to Israel if you can in the near future, or to host somebody from Israel?
An hour before having this meeting, we were talking with Eyal and Saud, and we said we are going to visit Tel Aviv as soon as everything is formal and final. We will definitely visit. There is no harm in visiting new countries. There's no harm in making new friendships. And I said this thing once before. My country loves peace and accepts peace. Whoever wants peace with us, we want that too, and we endorse it happily. And we're very excited for this, and we can't wait to see you guys visit us.
Right. Well, let me ask you, Kusar, because there are Israelis, let's admit it, who have visited parts of the UAE on third nation passports. But certainly what we haven't seen is, for example, a group of Israelis come openly, perhaps having a seminar or a meeting or a conference with a group like yours. Is Dubai, Abu Dhabi, are they ready to host that kind of gathering openly right now?
Well, I'm glad that you asked this question, because this is one of the visions that we have set between us and EAL. On a formal basis, on a governmental basis, I would actually be waiting on the news for that and to see how it is, because once our government and our governments actually have that intact, we will surely do the same within our delegations as well, the youth delegation. Obviously, we thank both governments for making this happen. And as Nora said, our country loves peace, and Israel just proved to us as well that they love peace too. So what more wonderful way to start off a peace agreement by visiting each other in person. And it will be great, just to speak to these people and not behind screens, of course, and to meet them. And well, when it's time to shake hands, we can shake hands.
Right. I can't imagine that there isn't an endless number of Israelis that would want to join this kind of dialogue. I guess there is some kind of selection process in your part, but how would somebody, an Israeli who wants to be involved in this dialogue that you've set up, how would they get involved?
So we open a website. They can join it through Israel Is, the Israelis one, and right now
Israel Is
the non-profit organization, and right now in the UAE they're creating the Emiratis Is, that together will be the open door to enter for this conversation. And we call for more Israelis and for more Emiratis and for more Bahrainis to join for these conversations.
Well, let me ask you, Nora, do you have friends ready to join who have not, discussing the group, but are ready to sort of join and make that plunge and maybe in a more formal way, open dialogue with their Israeli counterparts?
Well, I can tell you that I have hundreds that actually are ready to join from both the Israel end and from the Emiratis end. I've had informal conversations with one of my Israeli friends on Instagram Live. That's when I saw Emiratis interested, and they were asking me after the live chat. They're asking me, how can we join? We're very interested in that. We want to learn more. We want to know more. So yes, everybody is actually really excited, and I can't wait for Emirati Is to be up and running so everybody can join.
Well, hopefully it sounds just like this is going to be an ever-expanding circle. And I want to say to both of you, we look forward to hosting you both in our studio here in Jaffa and i24NEWS when you do make it. Hopefully that will be soon. I want to thank Nora El-Awadi and Saud Al-Husseini from the Youth Council of the UAE, Ayal Beram from Israel Is. We have. I'm sorry.
Can I just say thank you for the Dairy Foundation that support us for this incredible goods. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.